Hey everyone, this is Keith from Northeast Dual Sport Riders Club on meetup.com. This is a video of our latest adventure, which took place in late April 2013 in the western part of Massachusetts, and actually Franklin County. All of it took place in Franklin County. When I got back from the trip, I was left with 2 hours of video just like this, and there's really much more of a story to tell. This trip really had it all. High-speed dirt riding, some more rough dirt riding, some incredible views from bridges and rivers. But probably the biggest thing was the number of farms we saw on the tops of hills and just the overlooks. So let's get right to the story. Here's the cast of characters that participated in this ride, and we had a total of 8 people from mostly Massachusetts, but also from Connecticut. And, good group of folks. I've ridden with them before, pretty much all of them, and I think they had a good time. Coming up next, you'll see Victoria, who's our chief organizer, who has helped a lot, and she's built the club up. These early scenes are some of the riding more to the eastern part of where we went. Nothing fancy, just good solid dirt roads. It had rained the night before, so you're going to see a little bit of water here and there. But more or less easy way to start off the ride. The ride was broken into 2 parts, where we met a group of people early. Then we did about maybe 30 miles, and then we came back and met some other folks who came up from Connecticut who couldn't get there quite that early. Then we rode really the better stuff more in the afternoon after lunch. Really the ride just seemed to get better and better. This was a ride that kind of got thrown together the last minute, but I know a lot of the roads in the area, so it didn't take too long to put together a route that kept us on dirt roads really all day long without too much of a break. There's a stop right here we did where there's an old coke kiln, which you see there in brick. It's pretty interesting, just on the side of the road, more high-speed riding. This ride was done kind of early season, late April, where we typically will have mud, but the roads were in excellent condition. You can see in parts where we're riding just as fast on the pavement as we were in the dirt, which made it a lot of fun. This is one section here that's more of a remote area. It's really, I'm not sure if it's considered a road or not. It goes through a farmer's field and into the woods. It's a little bit rough and washed out, but it really presented no problems for the bikes we had. The person behind me for this section is Bill, who's got a BMW X Country with, more or less street tires. They're more biased for the street than the dirt, but he did a really good job following me, keeping up, and not getting out of sorts. Here's some of the riders. There was about 4 KLRs on this trip. F800 GS, there's Bill's X Country, this is my friend Joe on a KLR. There's Leon on the left, Bill and Mike. And my friend Joe has probably the cleanest KLR I've ever seen. It's about 10 years old, but there's not an ounce of dirt on it. And I was hoping to see how that would turn out at the end of the day, but he ended up leaving early. Friend Jim, and there's Victoria's little 250, which she really makes go. To get to the dirt, we had to do some street riding, and there's probably no better street riding in western Massachusetts than Route 116 that you see here. These are pretty twisty roads all the way through for several miles. Lucky for me, I live right off this road and get to drive it all the time. You can see the KLR is getting really leaned over here. When you can see the helmet cam in some of the rear view mirror shots, and just the bike banking over, And Bill told me later on the day that he said my bags, I have hard bags, were just about touching down on some of these corners. So it was a very fun time, and I love riding this road. I think everybody seemed to enjoy it quite a bit. But the route itself was probably 80% dirt. We had a little bit of time on pavement, but out where we are, there's just, all the roads are pretty remote without much traffic, and we were very lucky on the day. We really didn't deal with too much in the way of traffic or anything, really. We just kept moving right along, just like here. This is after we met everybody. This is our first opportunity to ride dirt, and this is a pretty isolated road, but it's really beautiful, very rugged. You got this rock cut right here, which I love riding through that. There's a park in here. And this road is not maintained in the winter time, and so it gets a little bit rough, but again, just a lot of fun on these bikes. The end of this road is a famous folk singer named Ray LaFontaine lives. I don't know, it's just a beautiful setting, to ride. I think most of the people had not been out in this part before, so it was kind of a treat for them. But these are my normal roads that I ride when I just even have an hour or so to spare, so I feel pretty fortunate. This was the first of our kind of hilltop farms. I don't think we realized it at the beginning of the day, but we were going to spend a lot of time on overlooks, high elevations with farms built on the top. This area has been settled since the 1600s, so you have many farms at the tops of the hills that have been in families for generations, many years, obviously. It's just beautiful. We're only at about 1,000, 1,300 feet maybe, but it's really picturesque. This part here we're riding along a golf course, just out in the middle of a rural area. It's really nice, and you can see the kind of high-speed riding that we can do out here. There's no traffic really. In some spots we hit some, but just a nice opportunity to cruise along on the dirt. This is right before we broke for lunch. We had kind of a 12:30 lunch. We went to Shelburne Falls to the West End pub. Very good food. This is my chicken ranch sandwich, which actually was very delicious, and we really it was a nice kind of break for us. We got kind of regrouped, and the best was yet to come. We started off with some more high-speed twisties coming out of Shelburne Falls, and boy, we were lucky not to have any traffic on a Saturday afternoon. It was just great. The temperature was in the 50s. We had our heat on a lot, but it was good. Now we're here, higher elevations, more farms, great overlooks, and there's an extensive network of dirt roads that just crisscross northern Franklin County. In fact, I think there's probably more dirt roads here than in the Berkshires. To find that out, but we had no loss of opportunities to ride dirt. A lot of the roads were just like this, excellent condition. They're maintained through the winter, and people live on them and travel on them all the time. Here's another beautiful property here. I love this brick Federalist house just in the middle of the top of the hill. Victoria and I are kind of comparing notes about how nice it was. She was really impressed with the scenery out here. The dog showed up. Now we're starting to climb elevation again, and this road is really fun where, somebody told me later on, I think Craig, that, hey, I was looking down and we're doing 40 or 50 miles an hour on some of these dirt roads, which I didn't expect. It just seems to come pretty easy because they're wide, good condition, but you do have some blind curves that you've got to watch out for. Getting higher and higher. You can see the stone walls from some of the old farms and properties. You'll go through here and you'll look in the woods and you'll see stone walls in the middle of nowhere. This area was extensively farmed and forested many years ago. This was a place we stopped at. I think for me and maybe a lot of people, the ride just seemed to come together. Everyone was just smiling, having a good time. They hadn't seen things like this before. We're literally just parking our bikes in the middle of the road, and there's no traffic, nobody ever came by, and we're right at the border of Massachusetts and Vermont. So you got great views. You got the beautiful red house that's for sale behind us, and everyone's just enjoying it. Victoria's there. It's Joe in the blue on the KLR, and he's looking to go to Vermont that day, so we're talking about where we are, and you can see sort of right here that there's a stone marker from 1896 that, hey, it's been out there, over 100 years and nobody bothers it. It's nice. This was kind of a nice shot of all the bikes, dirty, and everyone was just smiling, having a great time at this point. I think it really exceeded people's expectations, and there's a group of us that Victoria shot. We're coming down off the hill now, but there's going to be many more hills on this trip, and many other things to see. Just didn't let up for the kinds of opportunities we had. We're really blessed with some great weather. Again, it was in the 50s, but it wasn't too bad. It required I needed to use my heated gear during the day, but no complaints. The week before it had snowed on these roads. These roads had a bit of snow on them. Give Victoria a hard time here. For some reason, I just disappeared on her. She loves that 250. But here's another farm top. I mean, from here we just had some beautiful views too. just saw people walking. I guess they lived in that farm. But beautiful sky. Now we're coming down to part of the Puppy Dog Route. This is Green River Road. Because of the Hurricane Irene in August of 2011, a lot of this roadbed was completely wiped out in spots and had to be rebuilt. And the river took some of it, so the road is right along the river now. It's very dramatic and much more so than it had been before 2011. It's a lot of fun to ride on. Just got the river alongside and then rock ledges on the others. I'll tell you a little bit about my bike. I've got a KLR that has had some suspension modifications to it. I've got some fork inserts and a Moab shock in the back. And boy, dollar for dollar, that's probably the best investment I made on that bike. I can go off-road, and pretty much you can see in some spots where I'm going the same speed I was in the dirt. You know, it just, the bike tracks so well. It's very stable and soaks up about everything. With the stock suspension, the bike was just bottoming out all over the place. But boy, I love it now. KLR is just it's a great bike for this kind of stuff. And you can see it rides fast on the pavement and fast in the dirt. It's just great. Yet another farm, so okay. It's appropriate. This is really the Hilltop Farm Tour. We just saw these all day long. I was surprised myself. I've ridden through here extensively, but just what is out there. Now we're coming down a hill, coming down towards Route 2, the Mohawk Trail. We're going to be coming on kind of a hidden gem of an area that I love. This bridge goes over Deerfield River, and it's just gorgeous. You know, there's not too many people know about it, and it's got to be one of the prettiest spots in western Massachusetts. We were pretty lucky. You know, again, very little traffic comes through here, so you can freely walk across the bridge and just hang out. This section, we decided at the end, this is the end of the day, that we were going to ride some more rugged terrain. This is a road that's not maintained in the winter. We weren't sure what the conditions were like, but everyone was having a good time. We decided, hey, let's just give it a go. So we took off for it, and the road was fine. You know, washed out in a couple spots, but you know, very good condition. This is Mike following me right here on the F800, and you know, as I'm riding, I can see the dirt, the peel-out marks of like 3 or 4 bikes ahead of me. It was just fun to follow them, and we're starting to get into some more water splashes here, which we really hadn't seen on the day. But the water tends to remain on this road for a long time because it's in the middle of the woods. This is a road that is just right off my house, so I get to ride a lot, and it's always fun. And I thought these guys would like it, so. We had an incredible day. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, leave them and leave some comments or thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And check out the site. You know, we're riding all the time. We got a ride this weekend, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.